Greetings, Summoners. Cosmic here, and welcome back to another Battle Spirits Saga video. And today we're going to celebrate the launch of False Gods and the starter deck number 5, Verdant Wings. Or, well, hey, green is finally in the game. So I wanted to do one unboxing video, and for reasons I'm going to explain later, we didn't have a full box, but we do have the hits from the case, and we're going to talk about the X-rays and all that stuff. But primarily, this is the big one. This is going to be the main focus of just a unboxing, figuring out what the ratios are within these starter decks. As always with Bondi Games, you do need to buy 2 starters to get a full playset, but you know, it doesn't say on their website what the breakdown of each card is, so we're going to open it up. We're going to have some fun, and we're going to take to the field with blazing speed because of, well, Swift, or high speed as it was. But let's go ahead and let's do a proper unboxing for Verdant Wings. Now, yes, I did cheat a little bit. I did want to get rid of the tabs on the side just to make it a little bit easier to open, but I have not opened this yet myself. I'm sure it's going to have a lot of your standard things, like the Soul Core, like the cores you need to play, and the Field Mat, which we are all going to just throw off to the side because I'm sure you've seen it all many times before by now. You know, I always need more Soul Cores, so why not? But I'll probably just end up leaving that one in the packaging. So we have it here, our Rooster Zodiac Emperor Gale Phoenix. So hopefully I do not struggle too much. Ooh, there's a little bit of a gap there. Let's see what that's about. We're not going to, hopefully it's not struggle too much with the wrapping. We're doing this all in one take because that's how we do things here. No special fancy tricks or anything like that. So we're just going to bring it up right to the camera. And yes, I did do a full review of this on the channel as well. So if you want to hear me talk about the individual cards in the deck and which ones I think are playable or, you know, maybe not so playable, go check out that video as well. But we are going to be getting right into it. And of course, we do get 2 of the X-Rare or the Key Spirit on the box. Trying to see some of the texturing. I don't think it's going to come through, you know, hey, maybe one day if I make it big, I can buy myself a better camera, right? As they would say. But it looks like there's a slight texturing. I can't quite make it out. It's like a wavy. I doubt this is going to show through. Oh, you can kind of see it. You can kind of see it on the card. Not really. That's just the problem with the camera itself. But it is a textured foil like we've seen from the other starter decks before. So again, for those that are looking forward to some swift actions in set 2 as one of the key archetypes for green, you're definitely going to want to be picking up the starter deck for that. But there are some other staples. What did this cut to? Manticore, that you're going to want to be on the lookout for. So of course, as with every starter deck, we're going to get 2 of our Key Spirit. So let's get that out of the way. Up next, we have our Emerald Greatbird LD'd. Another, you know, now that I'm looking back at these, it is a 5 cost, and I really do like this guy. I get a chance to summon and ramp. We are going to get 3 of those per box, or I should say per set that we get, right? Vanillas that are common, you know, we don't really care about those guys too much, but Leafbeak, Toucan, these are great for people who are learning the game and like you want to learn about the reduction system. So for that reason, starter decks do still serve their purpose, and you're going to want some vanillas in them. But, you know, when you get to the main set and kind of the meats and potatoes of the game, you're going to want to throw those away. Or maybe not throw them away because, like, you know, Eagle's still good, but they're not going to be your main focus. Try and get all the artwork in here in person, or in focus, now that we have these in person. Viscount Minoba, one of the Swift birds. Again, the prey birds are going to be all about that swift action. There are some other cards that either have swift, they're not prey birds, or have ways to give other things swift, which is going to be really important. So it is just able to summon these during flash timing. So we get 3 of those as well. Moving on, we have the Explosive Charger Brandboar, which, by the way, shout out to Lightning Aura. This is going to be a very fun combo in set 2 with red-green shenanigans, because when the spirit attacks or blocks, refresh the spirit when it destroys one of your opponent's spirits via comparing BP. So with a little bit of BP boosting and with a fancy aura card out of red that's going to give this effectively confront, you will be able to board wipe your opponent's entire field with a 9k boar. Now, of course, you're going to need a little bit of help. 9k is not the biggest thing in the world, right? Maybe you're going to have some Nexus cards that are going to boost your BP or other ways to do it, but I am definitely looking forward to some fun combos with Brandboar. So in the starter deck, we are going to get 3 of these as well. Lots of 3 ofs. Oh, there he is, Leaf Wolf or Leave Wolf for Japanese battle spirits, making his appearance once more in the game, and also as a staple for what we've seen in terms of, hey, what does Swift do, right? Just an early drop that you can play. A lot of things too. It's when you play Swift, you don't really have to worry about the BP side of things too often because it's something that you're going to play either as a surprise attacker, so after they've already blocked, or as a surprise blocker, and then you're just trying to do it to survive. Obviously, this is going to be way better offensively than defensively, unless you are playing some of the other ones that do want to be played defensively. But overall, this is just a great statted, aggressive Swift for us to use. So 3 of those in the starter deck as well. Another vanilla, Forest Quillbeast Porcupine. I do love that it's a 3 for 7. So green does have some higher BP spirits to use, which is always great to look out for. And then, of course, lots of lore on these cards as well. And a 5 for 1, nothing to sneeze at either, right? So 3 of that as well. Oh, I forgot about this guy. I have not had a chance to brew with some of the other green decks yet, but I am very excited for Viridian Dragon Rider Run. Or maybe it's supposed to be Groon, whichever. Good ramp and also good just for the BP boosting. So what's really important to note is when this spirit attacks, when the battle ends, you may place 2 cores from this spirit into your reserve to select one of your spirits. It gains 3,000 BP during this turn. So what's really interesting about these cards, right, is that, let me go back to our other all-star that we had just talked about. With the combo in the red card that we were just, let me put these in cost order. With the other lightning aura that we just talked about, well, now we can make this a 12k, attacking, and then we also then have 2 cores from this in our reserve, which then lets us use our Swift spirits as well. So I am very excited to see where Grun ends up from a multiple combo example. It is a 5 cost, so it's something you're going to be playing off Beldegor if you want to do like a purple green mid range, or again just with 2 cords going into your void. There it goes. Place 2 cards from your void into your reserve, when it is destroyed by your opponent. So again, that's core removal, that's blocking. That is a lot of times if they just try to deadly balance it too, right? So white is a deck that is going to want some ramp, and this one does at least get up to 4k quite easily, but otherwise is likely going to be tapped out at a 5k in a lot of scenarios. But again, a great card that we get 3 of as well. So this is kind of where I don't mind, as always, having to get 2 starter decks, if only because we're getting getting a play set and then 2 extra of this, where it might only be a 3 of in some deck lists, and then you have 3 for each version that you want to be running. So small victories, but still a victory. Going on from there, we have our Ant-Man, if it wants to focus, a 2 cost Carapace. 1 for 3 and 4 for 2. I do really like the 4 for 2 here because it does come up quite a bit. So I think this one is going to be played in the Blade Bee style of deck that we're going to talk about a little bit later, because a 2 for 4 it does line up pretty well with what you want to be doing, and you do need 4k bodies for some of the effects that happen in the Blade Bee style of deck. So this might actually end up being a vanilla that we end up playing anyways, because it can hit 4k numbers really, really easily. Moving on to our 1 cost 1 reduction. Caprahorn. During your opponent's attack step, at the start step, the sphere has a soul core on it. Place a core from the trash into your reserve. So I do like this one, that it gets the opportunity, right? It plays into Swift from a starter deck perspective. It does give you that little bit of flexibility, but again, it's something that you're probably just not going to have in the list anyways, but it is still, I love the artwork with the horns and whatnot. Still an interesting card. So 3 of that. And then, I cannot wait to get the Judge foils of this one, which, spoiler, Judge foils will be available at your local game store now, starting with the launch of set 2. So I guess technically in August, so next week, when volume 2 comes out, there is going to be 1 Judge pack per week available at your local game store. So Mantagol, I love this guy. He is going to be, when summoned, exhausted to put a core from the void onto it. So it is just a good early ramp body, and spoiler, green is going to want a lot of these. Now, you do have to exhaust it, which means you're not going to be blocking, which is a little bit of a downside, but hopefully it's early enough that it doesn't matter too much. And then, of course, you could always use that core to summon something else. So we do get a full playset. I'm not exactly sure which of the ramping style of spirits we're going to be using just yet, but I like the idea of it, and plus it is a Judge foil, so that's got to count for something. Sacred Tree Stump City. So this one is going to be, BP gains and some card draw. We're going to have 3 of those. We then have our Airborne Crag, 3 costs. Oh, if it gets into focus. Then when one of your spirits is summoned, it gains 2,000 BP during this turn. So another great way to line up those swift attackers. And then during your end step, refresh any of your spirits with a soul core on them. So that is going to be very interesting for green, white, mid-range, or control shenanigans. Savage Power, one of my bursts that I think this is just going to be, like living the high roll dream, but probably not all that good. But I just really want to surprise in some big drop on our opponent because they destroyed our spirit. But I think there's going to just be better cards for us to use in the end. But we do get a playset of Savage Power. We got, of course, tap things down because that's what green wants to be doing. So we have Needle Shot, 3 cost, 2 reduction. They did nerf this one. Understandable. They did increase its cost by 1, but main flash, select one of your opponent's spirits and exhaust it. Just getting rid of those problematic blockers. And then the last spell, the last magic of the starter deck is multiple cores, and we do get 3 of these. So this is interesting because it's when your opponent resolves a when summon effect. So I've talked about this in the other videos, but I think when summon effects are going to be far more popular with green entering the meta, and also some of the other cards that we're getting. So definitely look forward to picking up some of the bursts that get more playability with it. Obviously, Star Blessed Draw being the key one, but there is some room for set 2 when summons spirits or burst cards to get some value. All right, so I was going to have a box opening, but as I was opening these boxes, I played the gamble because I am trying to open and sort all these and whatnot in time to make this video before I head out and all that stuff. And unfortunately, the box that we left for a video ended up being confirmed the dead box. So for those that don't know, in set 2, there is going to be 1 or 2 boxes per case that do not have a SPR or collab rare, but they have an extra X rare. So kind of the good news in this is that there will be higher value in the alternate arts. However, I think that there should always still be at least 1 dedicated hit per box. So I know some people are going to be asking for the tokens. I didn't kind of like put this in here in any special way because like clearly I'm still sorting, but I figured it was, I wanted to at least have the box and then we can go through it. So we have our token spirit. So we have the mecha token. Of course, that's going to be in white. And yes, these are just limited to level 1s. So you are stuck at only having a 3k power, but there's a number of ways you can summon that one. And then, of course, the other one is our Ant-Man, if it focuses, token, which is just going to be a spam of 1,000 BP attackers, which I expect to be very, very annoying because of the Nexus and other effects you can get, where you just summon an unholy amount of Ant tokens and constantly tapping down your opponent's threats. But with that out of the way, let's get into the big hits themselves. And of course, I just felt like I'd have to show off the proper box topper. So for those that missed it, it is Beam Rifle. If this comes into focus, maybe. It's always hard to do this in front of me, right? But so there we go, Beam Rifle. It is a gorgeous full art. It is foil. You'll notice there is no texture on it though, so it is a flat foil. But of course, the other cards do have that foiling texture on them. So really cool. I gotta say, I guess spoiler alert, I did get the SPR. I kind of like the SPR better, which is, a little bit funny because I'm obviously a huge Gundam fan. But I think that how the SPR turned out for Thorn Prison, it is just better because it fits more in line with the Battle Spirits artwork and also like does a nod to one of the characters. So I think it just like comes together really, really nice by comparison. So yes, we did get some Gundam cards and they are confirmed to be 3 per case if you get the Saga rare or you get a 4th. And I guess I should just take this out really quick because the penny sleeve is going to ruin it. Or you get 3 Gundams and a Saga rare, or you get 4 Gundams in total. So yeah, these are rare. These are definitely going to be some real money cards. And I'm really sad I missed out on the pre-order on them, but the foiling on them looks a lot better in person. I know my crappy camera is probably not going to do this justice. I apologize, but all of these really, really turned out well. And I'm very sad that I'm probably just going to leave them on my binder because if you know me, I am very rough on my cards. I bridge shuffle them and all that good stuff all the time. So I would absolutely destroy Barbados if I were to put this in my deck, but I want to get all 6 of the Gundam cards and just kind of sleeve them up and leave them in the binder at this rate. But very, very happy with how it turned out overall. And then, of course, the last one, so spoiler, we got the Saga. The last one is Freedom Gundam, which has a really nice accent on the weapons and then the wings in the background. So I gotta say, like, they did a really great job on foiling on these. So, like, if we get a full collab set, which hopefully by the time that this video is out, the survey will be published, make sure you let them know if you want a full collab set for Gundam, because, again, these are... I really hope everyone can see these in person, because, again, they look so much better than I expected them to turn out, just personally. And I'm, again, going to try to get a full set. Getting into the not as exciting ones, but I think they're still cool. So we have our Thorn Prison. Again, I like this. Like, I love the core on their chest. And obviously it's Demo Bones, so rest in peace, Demo Bones. You get that cool texturing effect in the background with all the vines and stuff. Like, I think this just looks really good. I was really happy with how this turned out. So, very solid one. Of course, I am very happy we got our Clavis, which has just gorgeous artwork. And again, the foiling on this one turned out really, really well. I will say I wish the texturing was a little bit more noticeable, but overall, the full art and the detail on these cards is really, really clean. And then we have our Meteor Emperor Siegworm. So I love the effect of like the net that he has and all like the little accents that happen on the shield rather, and the rays coming off of it. So very let's get Star Dragons to be playable, right? Let's do some fun stuff and make this guy hopefully get to see some play, because the artwork is gorgeous. Moving on from there, we have a Nexus Hazard, which I know a lot of people are worried about in this next set, and just how good it is. And this is another one where like let's see if I can get the top. You can see it just there. It has like this wave texture, plus the volcano at the top that has all the texture. But down here, it doesn't have as much of like the foiling or texturing that you would hope. So it's really all in the top half of the card. And now my absolute favorite, and I'm so mad. I know for a fact this is not going to come through on the camera, but on the Queen, let's see if it does come through the camera. They did something super, super cool. And as far as, you know, with my limited sample, it is the only special rare that has this. Nope, I'm not going to be able to get it. So if you see a Queen in person, in this very top right corner, there is a special textured pattern that I have not seen done on any other SPR in the game yet. And I really wish they would do more of this in the future. Nope, there's no shot it's going to come through, unfortunately. My camera is just not good enough. Even if you can kind of see the start of the print there. If I move my finger, nope, not enough. But you can see how it's like a repeating, I don't want to call it a checkered pattern, but like an accent of, what would that symbol even be called? But it's also really nice that the gems have an accent on them. So I think overall, like, for at least the ones that I've seen, this one is my favorite because I love the background texture, which is something new that they haven't done yet, as well as the extra accent on the cards itself. And then, of course, I got to give a shout out to the 3 cards. This is a card that will be nuts in the next set. Probably not that great in this one, but it is just an overall gorgeous card. I love the Starburst effect on it. Obviously, I'm a yellow main, so I'm very biased. I love all yellow cards. I think they have the best foiling and the best texturing out of most of the time, but that is a card that's getting shelved for set 3, because if you know, you know, and I will be buying them very, very cheap. And now, another card that I am very sad that this poor camera is not going to do it justice, but I sincerely love the Saga Rare of this set. I will say, and I'm giving Bandai the feedback in the survey, I still wish they'd had the gold stamp like they do in Japanese Battle Spirit, but the texturing on this card turned out wonderful with all the layers, like with the sun in the background and there's a burst ray around it. Obviously, we have the battle between the two. We have the different artwork, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. I guess you can see the I keep saying starburst, but sunburst there in the background. Very, very happy with the Saga Rare this time around. And again, not going to be opened as nearly as much compared to Nova, right? Because we don't have the launch event. So the Saga Rares themselves are confirmed to not be one a case anymore. So if you want a Saga Rare, or if you open one, it might be worth holding on to until the market comes around and figure out what they are meant to be at. So With that, the last thing I'm going to mention here, I'll just put up an image now for the overall ratios and everything, is that, yes, the one thing I'm really happy about is kind of some closing notes here. The rare ratios do seem to be fixed. Yes, there are still packs that were missing rares, but double rare packs felt way more common, and I did end up with 2 full sets of common through rare. I think I was short like a single rare that I had like a foil of, so it didn't matter. So 2 complete sets for common through rare. So if you're splitting a case with somebody, it's really, really good. And then, of course, the ratios we got on the X rares themselves, you can see, are 6 to 7 each. So getting a case and splitting it is really not the worst idea at all. Now, that said, there is, yes, the disclaimer at the time of this video that boxes are super cheap. So if you want to gamble on loose boxes, or if you know an LGS who's going to be honest with you about like, hey, are the 3 Gundams gone from the case, right? That is a very valid question to ask if you're picking up loose boxes. And there are going to be some boxes on the market that will be, in quotes, dead boxes that you know they're not going to get in SPR or Gundam or Saga in the box. And that is going to be a bit of a gamble. So I do have to add the disclaimer here to please buy from trusted sellers. Do not buy just off TCG Player if you can avoid it. And then, of course, I would say just buy singles. But that said, not a lot of people are opening up for singles of this set, understandably. So again, it's really hard to say where the market is going to go in the next 2 to 3 weeks because there's so many different variables to consider. And again, if people are trying to get singles, well, more people will open up boxes. And then if that's happening, the box value will go back up, right? So a lot remains to be seen about what happens with here from the set. But overall, look, it's been 6 months. We finally have new cards to play, and I couldn't be more excited. Obviously, I've been creating videos nonstop since February. This is still my favorite trading card game launched in the last 10 years. But oh my God, did we need new cards? And honestly, at least with like early testing and early designs or I should say early deck builds and what some of the different combos I want to pull off, there is a lot of really cool shit you can do in set too. So that is like the one thing I'll say, obviously we need some grand opens. We have to wait to see how the tournament promos impact the meta as well, because obviously I can't test reliably with those yet. But I'm really, really excited for set 2 and how it's going to shake up the meta in a huge way, or should in a huge way, because there's so many cool things you can do and so much different levels of interaction that you now have that weren't previously available in set 1. So again, it does give me a lot of hope that this set will shine through. So with that, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week or weekend. And of course, if you're watching this when it goes live, I will be casting the Pro Tour this weekend. So I'm really looking forward to seeing all of our summoners compete and figure out who is going to close out this set 1 meta. Finally put, the dawn of history to rest and really welcome in false gods to all it's going to be. So with that, my friends, again, take care of yourselves, stay hydrated, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.